All right. And we are back with. Is this the last installment of the best of / favorite series? Only time will tell. We're going to try and get through these last ones. Just be patient, folks. We're almost talking like it's a chore to watch these things. We hope it's an awesome, cool experience to watch these things. But maybe it is a beating.
We've put audiences through such an ordeal.
Thank you for you faithful few. We
yes.
appreciate you hanging there with us.
We're ready to knock them out.
We're going to knock them out. And Best Supporting Actor in a feature film. All time.
Supporting Actor. All right. I love George C. Scott, Dr. Strangelove. He is so freaking funny in that movie.
Over the top, man.
Yeah.
The big board.
Supposedly, that during the filming, George C. Scott he wanted to play his character a lot more subtle. So supposedly, Kubrick made this deal with him and said, look, how about this? Give me one take that's over the top. Give me another take that's like what you think you should do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got angry though when the movie came out that Kubrick used all the over the top, takes. And but I think that's a real shame where a director, you have a movie basically that is a classic. It's obviously such a fine performance, very comedic. And he was a little bit like, well, that's not what I wanted to put across. It's a shame that he didn't see the brilliance of what he did. So I think that's a little bit of a shame. But we can enjoy it and go out and rent it if you haven't seen Dr. Strangelove.
Okay, really blasting through this one. I'm just joking. I'm sorry, I had to go there. Anyway, that's 2 minutes of the show based on George C. Scott.
We're
I'm just joking. I'm joking. I had to go over the top.
Now that we've lost another 30 seconds, okay.
No, it's a great performance. I'm just giving you crap.
Okay.
Great performance by George C. Scott. Over the top. When he's so excited he falls and does the flip. That's one of the greatest moments ever in a movie because he's so excited he just falls.
Yeah. Well, he's almost childlike, in his responses.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie. Kurtwood Smith. RoboCop, Clarence Boddicker. My favorite villain of all time is Clarence Boddicker in RoboCop.
Long before he was the dad on That 70s Show.
It's Kurtwood Smith, right?
Kurtwood Smith.
I knew Kurtwood was right, but
yeah.
Anyway,
just so people know who he is.
Yes, dad on the 70s Show and a bunch of other stuff. My favorite villain of all time. He's so evil, just to the core evil. He loves that he's evil. And we talked about it before.
Yeah.
I said, I feel like the supporting actor in a lot of ways needs to be a villain. Because I always think they're sort of like maligned, a lot of times in movies. Like, I wanted to make, I thought, well, my gosh, my favorite villain of all time is Clarence Boddicker. That should be my best, my supporting actor of all time.
Right.
I just like, he was so over the top evil. He was so, just the gum on the, he was so perverted and perverse. It's like, everything bad you could dump into a character, he is. And my guy Mo that I do on or with the Red Sea stuff, when I do Mo, to me Mo is my interpretation of that type of a bad guy, where he's everything. He's gay, he's straight, he's racist, he's sexist, like everything you can dump into a character.
He's all out there.
Like drugs, alcohol, everything, like every vice known to man, he does, and that's what Clarence Boddicker is to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I love him so much. All right, I know I just screwed it up too. I kept talking too much.
Supporting actress, right?
Yes.
Best supporting actress. Angela Lansbury. She was in The Manchurian Candidate, 1962. One of the things about that film is, this is in praise of her performance. To this day, when people talk about that film, it's usually that, hey, she was really scary in that movie. I think that's a testimony of how great her performance is. Because after all these years with The Manchurian Candidate, it's kind of a minor classic, is viewed that way. But her performance still stands as kind of one of the bright spots and kind of the most memorable and scary thing about it. And for someone who had just done a lot of like cutesy minor roles, to do that role, it was really kind of launched her into, I think, more major films. Go ahead.
She's an evil bitch. I mean,
Yeah,
she just plays an evil bitch in the movie.
She played it.
She nails it. She nails it. You hate her. When they kill her in the end, you're like, yes! And you really are cheering. Kill her, kill her, kill her.
Yeah.
I cheated a little bit. And I really did love this performance. But I put her in the supporting category because I kind of feel Ryan Gosling is the lead. And that's Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine. A haunting movie. Haunting, disturbing movie.
Yeah.
Not a movie for the faint of heart. Not a movie to watch if you're in a good mood. I don't know if it's a movie you should watch in a bad mood because it might get worse. It's not a movie for everyone.
Not at all.
It's so heavy and depressing, but the downfall of a relationship. Anyway, and she deals with a tough movie. You sympathize her and you empathize with her and you understand where she's coming from. Meanwhile, with Ryan Gosling, you do this. You have the same thing. So your heart breaks for him too, but you also understand where she is at, and it's a torturous role for an actress to pull off, and she does it so well. And again, I could have put her in the lead category, but I cheated and I put her in the supporting category because I wanted to represent her so well. And I remember when she was nominated for an Oscar.
Oh yeah,
I was like, she deserves to win. Nobody else deserves to win. It's like not even close. And of course, she didn't win. I can't remember who she lost to, but she lost and didn't win. And I think it is an all-time performance. It is a brutal movie, and she is absolutely a soldier in the role. It's a great performance. It's a legendary performance, in my opinion, by Michelle Williams of Blue Valentine.
Well, I'm not surprised you say that. You loved it from day one, so yeah.
Yeah. All right, cinematography. This is for you novices out there. This is the camera work, the look of a movie, the look, the feel, the lighting.
Yeah, who filmed it? Who was responsible for filming it?
And that would be
best cinematography. Freddie Young. He did Lawrence of Arabia. Came out in 1962. That is just in terms of the challenge of shooting for 2 years. Yeah, that. But then composing shots where you have people moving and they're literally 20 miles away and you're up on a high mountain and keeping things in focus. You're in 125 degree temperature for months. Mm-hmm. So you got that challenge going on. But at the end of the day, all we care about is, of course, the result. And what is the result is one of the most grandest, epic, beautiful shot films I've ever seen. Lawrence of Arabia.
My favorite for cinematography is JFK. That would be Robert Richardson. I forgot to write down his name. I had to look real quick. Robert Richardson, JFK. I love the backlighting. I love the use of overexposure. I love with the white hot light coming from like the top or straight from the bottom or bouncing off the table and the light in their faces.
Yeah.
The blanked out, white lit glasses. Just a beautifully shot movie. The rain, the way he shoots the rain, the colors, all that stuff. Just a beautifully shot movie. The movie itself is in my top 15. It would be an honorable mention. It would be one of my honorable mentions for best, my favorite movies of all time. Right Stuff is another movie that I would like to honorable mention, but if I had to pick one, best cinematography, hands down, be JFK, Robert Richardson. To me, the most beautiful movie, and it's a movie I emulate with my own stuff.
Yeah,
I totally emulate. I want to capture that look.
And he had to. A director wanted him to use different formats too. To go back between color and black and white
and 8mm, and Oliver Stone took it to another level with Natural Born Killers, a movie I didn't like, but technically was amazing, and they did an amazing job shooting and editing it. And it would definitely be on honorable mentions list.
It was almost like Unchained or Fearless the way they approached it.
Just JFK,
every format.
JFK was before Natural Born Killers, so I'm going to give the kudos to JFK.
Right.
JFK, hands down, my favorite shot film of all time. Beautiful movie, and one I emulate to this day. Which segues into film editing. My favorite edited film of all time is a tie with JFK and Star Wars. JFK, the editing is so was so ahead of its time, so revolutionary, and it's the movie makes so coherent sense with all this mountains of data and information
Yeah.
to relay to you. It is a feat. It's one of those movies that I don't know that they could do again twice as good. Like if you say, hey, Oliver Stone, remake it yourself, he couldn't do it. It was a lightning in a bottle thing, and editing had a lot to do with it. The way they used all these different camera angles, all these different camera and lighting techniques, and blending together, editing together, all these different formats, and you got information spread across a decade of information they're trying to put into this 3-hour movie. It's an amazing, amazing feat of film editing. It was ahead of its time. It was revolutionary. Everything post JFK owes something editing wise to JFK, and I stand behind those words. The tie is Star Wars, and the reason why I put Star Wars in there as a tie is because Star Wars is the greatest edited movie ever in terms of visual beats. And if you watch my favorite film of all time segment on Star Wars, that movie is edited to visual beats 1 2 3 1 2 3, and it's up, and it's literally is a visual piece of music. Watch the TIE Fighter, Millennium Falcon escape from the Death Star, and that scene is cut to visual beats so perfectly. It can never be duplicated. It's a lightning in a bottle thing. So I know it's a tie, but I stand by that tie. Those two movies, hand down, the best edited movies of all time. Your best edited movie of all time.
Intolerance. It's a silent film from 1916. This film is a lot of people say, well, hey, how could that be better than a more modern film? Well, you could make the argument that sound pictures with the use of dialogue and exposition actually can make your job even much easier. But if you have just images to tell your story, it's actually, you're taking one asset or tool at your disposal in dialogue and exposition away. So Intolerance, it has 4 stories that it intercuts so beautifully, way ahead of its time, and bounces back and forth, very a bit leisure at first, but methodical to establish, so you get to know each story you're following. Then the last hour, the pace picks up, almost like someone walking, and then they go into a jog. But by the end of the film, they're in an all-out sprint. And so I think that film stands as really a testimony of great editing. This is back when the editor's actually touching the tape, the film, if you will.
It's film.
I mean, it's really film, and they're really having to do it themselves. It's an absolute huge achievement that they did that. And there's even scenes where there's like sepia tone and then back to black and white. There's color sequences, so it was very experimental in that respect. Great movie.
All right, best score. So the music soundtrack, hands down, Star Wars. Unanimous decision.
Star Wars, I love it.
Nothing even comes close. It's a part of the national psyche at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few that I considered. Like The Mission by Ennio Morricone is such a gorgeous score, heavenly score. But at the end of the day, pound for pound, I know we could even go back as far as like Adventures of Robin Hood with Eric von Korngold, which inspired John Williams with the Star Wars. But at the end of the day, Star Wars is just brilliant. It is a perfect marriage of that action with the images you see on the screen.